What if a crisis that's unfolding thousands of miles away was already having a real direct impact on Britain's streets and on its financial heart in the city of London? Well, that's exactly what's happening. In just the last month, Venezuela has absolutely exploded onto the global stage. We're talking U.S. warships deployed, a major cartel being labeled a terrorist group, and a massive drug bust on a route that leads, you guessed it, straight to Europe. This isn't some distant problem anymore. It's a story about immediate security threats right in our neighborhood and some really serious financial risks for London. So let's get into it. Let's break down what's going on and why Venezuela suddenly matters so much to all of us in Britain.
Okay, let's just start with a number that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about how serious this has become. $50 million. Now, this isn't just a reward. It is a massive, massive escalation by the United States. I mean, to give you some perspective, that's double the reward that was once offered for Osama bin Laden. This one number signals a huge shift in policy, and it just dramatically raises the stakes on the world stage.
Right, so how did we get here so fast? This is the thing. This isn't just a regional crisis anymore, something just contained to Latin America. Not at all. Recent moves by global powers have basically turned this into a flashpoint with direct consequences for security and finance all over the world. And that, as we're about to see, absolutely includes the UK. And the pace of all this? It's just staggering. I mean, just look at this timeline from the past month. It's one thing after another. Boom, at the end of July, a terrorist designation. Then, early August, that $50 million reward. Almost immediately after that, a huge cocaine bust in the Atlantic. And then, just a few days later, U.S. warships are deployed. It's this rapid-fire series of events that has completely, and I mean completely, changed the game.
Now, you saw that name on the timeline, the Cartel de los Soles. So what is it exactly? Well, according to the U.S. Treasury, this is an organization led by Nicolás Maduro himself. And designating it as a specially designated global terrorist, that is a huge move. It's not just about narco-trafficking. The U.S. says it's because they support other groups, like the infamous Sinaloa cartel. And what this designation actually does is trigger incredibly tough sanctions for anyone, anywhere who deals with them. It's a really big deal.
And just look at the sheer scale of the military response here. We're not talking about a symbolic gesture. The U.S. has sent 3 of its most advanced destroyers, with about 4,000 sailors and Marines. And this isn't a quick visit. It's a months-long deployment. That is a very powerful military force sitting right on Venezuela's doorstep. Okay, so this is where it really starts to hit home. All of this isn't just happening over there. There is a direct line from the Caribbean to the UK's own national security. You can think of it as a kind of trafficking superhighway, and it brings organized crime from Latin America right to our front door. And if you want proof, here it is. Take the Sky White bust. Over 3 tons of cocaine seized from just one tugboat. But the really crucial part? Look who was involved. Right there, alongside Spain and the US, was the UK's very own National Crime Agency. This shows the threat isn't some abstract idea. Our people are already on the front lines of this fight. And this just perfectly shows you the diplomatic puzzle we're dealing with. On one hand, you have the U.S. Treasury being absolutely clear, saying the Cartel de los Soles supports groups like the Sinaloa cartel, but on the other hand, a key regional player like Mexico says, nope, no evidence. It really shows how complex and contested the intelligence is, which makes getting everyone on the same page for a coordinated response incredibly difficult. So, let's really bring it home now. Why is Britain so uniquely exposed in all of this? Well, the risks for the UK aren't just about security. They actually run deep into our financial and legal systems, touching the very heart of the City of London.
You see, it's not just one thing. The risks are coming at us from all sides. First, there's the obvious one, national security, the drug trafficking routes. But then there's the massive risk to our financial integrity, because London could be a hub for laundering all that dirty money. It messes with our foreign policy with key allies, and of course it has a direct impact right here at home on UK businesses and the Venezuelan community living here. And if you want to put a number on that financial exposure, how about this one? Roughly $2 billion. That's the value of Venezuelan state assets that are reportedly held right here in the Bank of England. These funds are already tangled up in complex legal battles, which puts London and the UK's financial system right at the center of the whole story.
And we can't ignore the human cost in all this. Behind the politics and the big numbers, both the United Nations and the U.S. State Department have pointed to a really severe deterioration in human rights and the rule of law inside Venezuela. This adds a critical ethical and moral layer to how the UK decides to respond to everything. But this isn't just a doom and gloom story about risk. It's so important to look beyond the current standoff.
Because the potential change in Venezuela could actually present a huge opportunity, not just for the Venezuelan people, but for international partners who are ready and willing to help rebuild. And I'm not just saying that. Listen to this quote from the America Society. It captures the shift in thinking perfectly. It frames Venezuela not as a hopeless crisis, but as a country on the verge of a historic transformation. This is the potential upside that policymakers and investors are starting to look at, a pivot from just managing risk to seizing an opportunity for recovery. So, if that recovery happens, what could the UK's role be? Well, this is where Britain's unique strengths in finance, law, and technology could be incredibly valuable in helping make sure any transition is stable, transparent, and ultimately successful. So here's a potential blueprint. Step 1, the City of London can help structure the clean, compliant financing that's needed for reconstruction. Step 2, Britain's world-class lawyers and consultants can help embed transparency and good governance from day one. And Step 3, the UK's amazing AI sector could partner with them to build the digital infrastructure they'll need for a modern economy. This is all about positioning Britain as a key, trusted partner.
Which leaves us with this one crucial question. Is Venezuela's future a risk for Britain to manage, or is it an opportunity to embrace? It's clearly a tightrope walk. On one side, you have these immediate, very real threats to our security and our financial system. But on the other, there's this potential for a transformation where Britain's unique expertise could help shape a stable and prosperous recovery. The path forward is uncertain, for sure, but one thing is crystal clear. What happens in Caracas is going to have consequences in London. The only real question is, will Britain be ready?